Hello, welcome, everyone. Oh my goodness, this live was supposed to happen around like noon. We had some technical difficulties. I had to recreate everything. So if you got the 11:30 message, like 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central, we're starting a little early. If you got the 11 o'clock one, then we're starting a little late. So I figured we start in between. Welcome, happy Monday. Thank you all for joining and watching. As you all are joining, I'm going live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So as y'all are joining, feel free to give me a hey, hi, let me know where you're watching from. I am coming to you all by way of Texas, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited. I was traveling this weekend, had a great time, and now I want to get back and share this important message on 3 mindset shifts to grow your business in 2026. And you all have heard me speak about this before. I truly believe that right now, every Black woman and every woman of color in the US and surrounding countries needs to have an additional way to bring in income besides her job. I think I just saw a statistic and it says something around like 500,000 Black women have left the workforce involuntarily since 2024. So we need to have ways to generate our own income. And having a business is one of those ways. So let me start with that. Now, we are also, Black women in America, one of the largest group of women starting business in America. With that being said, that doesn't always equal into revenue and income. So I want to share this with you all. And let me just, I usually don't run down my credentials, but let me just show you all who I am. I'm Latrice. Hey, career and leadership coach. However, that is not only it. My background is in business, meaning I have a business degree with a concentration in marketing. I've been in accounting and had held jobs in human resources for the bulk of my career. I have successfully owned my own business for the last 10 years where I generated over multiple six figures. So I was up in the 200K range. I'm recently deciding to shift more into helping women of color and Black women grow their businesses rather than just grow in their careers. So I've been getting that question like, are you still doing career coaching? Yes, but we're mostly focusing on how can you generate income on your own. So these tips I'm going to share with you all are coming from my personal experience, my professional experience, helping my clients go from 0 clients to 10 clients in 2 months, helping my clients go from 100K to doubling that in less than a year. I helped a client go from 200K to over 600K in revenue in less than 6 months. So it is not just about strategy, it is also about mindset. So I want to share with you all the 3 mindset shifts to help you grow your business, especially in 2026. I've done all the strategies. I've had all the coaches. I've done LinkedIn. I've done YouTube. I did the email strategy. I had a podcast. Like, if you name it, I've done it when it comes to strategy. And I'm telling you, mindset will trump strategy all the time. If you have the wrong strategy, right, but the right mindset, it will work and you will get clients and make money. However, if you have the right strategy or someone tells you it's the right strategy, but your mindset is this never is going to work for me. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. It's got to be hard. That was one of the things I was telling myself. You're going to make it so, and you're not going to grow your business at the rate that you want, and you're not going to earn the money that you want. One of the best things I like about business versus just career is that you control your income, right? The harder you work, so to say, and it doesn't always have to be hard, but the harder you work in a way of mapping out and creating what you want, you will get that. Your only income limitations is you. Right. So, my first tip on mindset is knowing you can create your own opportunities. I talk about this a lot. I even had this program way back in the day about creating your own opportunities because I saw the shift in my business when I started to believe that I created my opportunities, not the economy, not the president, not some random person, not my boss. I created my own opportunities, hence, I was in control of my own income. Hear me out. You have to have this mindset shift because If you go into business thinking like an employee and thinking someone controls your money and you have to get permission, you're not going to increase your prices. You're not going to go after the clients that you deserve, those high and ideal clients. You're not going to sell as much as you can. You need to know that you create your own, and I'm going to say income opportunities. You create your own income opportunities, okay? The second shift, and this is very important, you are not an employee. I don't care what anyone says. You're not an employee of your business. You're not an employee of someone else, even if you have a contracting business. So there is a shift from employee to entrepreneur mindset. This is something you might have heard this before, but putting it a different way. Especially when I see women of color and Black women, it is a permission based mindset, meaning we think we need to ask someone, we need to ask permission. You want to grow your business in 2026? No permission needed. Do it. You don't need to ask anyone. You need to shift away from thinking like an employee, and you now need to think like an entrepreneur. What that looks like. All right. I want to share this of what it looks like. You do not need permission. You want to give yourself an increase? Figure out how you can give yourself an increase. You don't need to go and ask a person, meaning your boss, or even Chat GPT. I have people be like, I'm gonna ask Chat GPT. Chat GPT is just gonna feed you back whatever you think, or even worse, some random bias from the person who programmed it. So you do not need permission. You are the entrepreneur. You are the business owner. You get to decide your rates, meaning your prices. You get to decide your income. You get to decide what clients you could take. You get to decide when and where and how you start. You have to do this. I see so many people get stuck in this employee mindset. And I'll show you what this looks like if you think you're stuck. One, asking for permission and waiting for permission. Two, thinking you have to have like a 36 page report or proposal to convince someone that you need an increase. Girl, the person you're convincing is yourself. You don't need that. Hey, Trisha, thank you for joining. Yes, thank you so much. And I am so excited to see so many women and Black women starting their own business. Let me tell you, it is not just about starting your own business. It is about growing it and bringing in the income that you deserve and that you desire. So you have to shift away from this employee mindset. If you catch yourself being like, I need to prove that I deserve more money, whether I need to prove it to my clients, I need to prove it to myself, I need to prove it to my cousin, friend, sister, you don't. You don't. Now, I'm not saying don't do market research. That's different. Market research is one thing. But as I've worked with women of color and Black women when it comes to businesses, the first thing I look at is their prices. I look at their ideal clients and their packages. That's usually the place where we need to shift. And it usually they're like, oh, Latrice, I didn't think I could do this. I didn't think I could package it. I didn't think I could do it this way. Like they needed some sort of permission. That's that employee mindset. I've even had people who own their own businesses tell me they couldn't take off. I'm like, sis, take a vacation. Like you can take off. This is your business. When I shifted from thinking like a employee to an entrepreneur, one, I stopped working 8 hours a day. Let me tell you this. If you're thinking like, hey, I need to work my full-time job, then come home and work 8 hours a day, that is an employee mindset. And you need to shift. If you're thinking, I can't make any mistakes, that is an employee mindset. An entrepreneur knows we are going to make mistakes. We need to learn from them because mistakes are just costly. So we're going to learn from them. But I don't try to avoid every single mistake because you will stall yourself. And that's another way you are thinking like an employee. Okay. When I got out of this, and I've shared this before, was when my mom got sick right at the beginning of 2020. And I had all these lofty goals and they all had to shift because I had to take a week off every month. She was getting treatments. to be there for her treatments. But I still needed to make additional income because I needed to travel. My mother needed special equipment. And it was things I wanted to get for my mother for her comfort. It was this special chair that like helps you lift. Anyway, it was a $3,000 chair, which sounds expensive, but for my mother's comfort, it was not. So it was things that I wanted to provide for my family. And so I had to figure out, how can I work less while making more money? In the midst of this happened in January 2020. By the end of January, remember, everything shut down, if you all don't remember. And eventually my son's daycare shut down. So I also then had my son home with me, who was a toddler. So I had to work. My equation was, how can I work less and earn more? That is really when I saw this shift where I was like, I can't be I'm not an employee. I don't have to ask anyone for FMLA. I don't have to ask anybody if I can take off or to take care of my mom, any of that. I can bring my kid to work because I had to bring my son with me. Right. And in that, it really helped me with this concept of, I don't need to work 4 hours a week. I don't need to work 8 hours a day. I can work, 4 to 15 hours a week and still bring in the same income. I use automation, I use strategy, I had aligned action, but I had to first shift my mindset from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. And that was when, before I did that, you guys, my income was stagnant. I was making less than 20,000. I would say less than 50, but it was very stagnant. Once I shifted, I had my highest income level in 2020, and then it just consisted to go up expeditionally from there. Like, my income jumped once I figured this. It was no way, if I kept thinking like an employee, it was no way I was going to get to 100K. It was no way I was going to get to 200K in my business, and then some. So you have to shift. And if you don't know, catch yourself, write it down. If you hear that voice being like, oh no, girl, you better come home and work on your business for the next 10 hours, write that shit down. Write that down. Sorry, write that down and look at it and be like, is this an employee talking like this and thinking like this, or is this an entrepreneur? Because an entrepreneur knows that she can create her own opportunities. An entrepreneur knows that she can take aligned action using her gifts and her instincts and her expertise, and we don't need to work like everybody else. Like, you will still get your money whether you work 8 hours a day or 18 minutes a day. You will still get your money. Okay? So please, please, please hear me when I say that. That is, I should have saved that for like the number one. That is the biggest shift. I should see everybody like, no more employee thinking. Just like, yeah. And here's the thing. If you have a full-time job, go to your job and think like an employee. That's fine. It's actually less of a thought process. When you come home and you need to think like an entrepreneur, it's more strategic, it's more nuanced, it's more complex, right? However, it can also be simplified in the actions you need to take. We don't need to ride the clock and figure out, we can do aligned action that's going to move the financial needle for us. So I wanted to share that. I have one more. Sorry, guys. I thought I had my do not disturb on. I have one more tip that I wanted to share with you all, and I had a story just about one of my clients and how we were thinking about this. She was starting her own therapy practice, and in her mind, she had to do it by steps. Like, the employee thinking tells us we need to do things 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to do things in a process. Now, to say in entrepreneurship is not steps isn't true. There are steps, but it's few and far between, right? The main thing is getting started, knowing knowing what you're going to sell, knowing your product or service, and knowing your ideal client, how you're going to market it. It's really, it can be that simple with a repetitive process. But she thought she had to have a resume, a company resume, a website. She was like, I need to have 17 things together. She thought she had to get credentialed, like all these different things to get these 10 clients. So her goal when she came to me, she was like, Latrice, I want to get 10 clients by the end of the year. She came to me in January. She was like, by December, I want to have 10 clients. 10 clients is That was like her max. She was like, I'd be booked out at 10 clients because she still had a full-time job. I said, okay, run me down how you're doing this. Every thought process she said, I was like, okay, you're thinking like an employee. You're thinking like an employee. Like you don't work for someone else with this. You're working for yourself. I said, if you needed to get these 10 clients the fastest way while you're still helping them and still helping yourself, how would you do it? And she was like, and I don't want to be on social media all day. I was like, you don't have to do that. She's like, I can take private pay while I'm getting credentialed. You could get listed on directories. It was like one other thing we did, but she had to shift from being like, I'm not an employee. I don't need to ask for permission. I don't need to pull out my resume. She could create a profile and do that. So she was like, how do you market? She had been building up referrals and a list of people who trusted and believed her for the last 10 years. She just reached out to them and told them she started a business. She filled up her practice within 2 months. No website, no social media, no working 8 hours a day because she already had a full-time job. This is what it looks like when you shift from employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. You realize I don't need to do all the things. I don't need to work for 8 hours a day doing. Sometimes y'all know, I remember I used to work and sometimes I would come in and work like 10-hour days. Other times I would come in and I'd be like, I don't work so hard. Like by the time Friday came, I was like, you know what? I don't have 8 hours right now. Like I don't have 8 hours worth of work. It's sometimes I remember one week I worked 60 hours for another company. 60 hours and that was salary, meaning my salary was going to look the same. I was like, something got to change. Something got to change. My income wasn't changing. You'll notice the more effort you give to your business. Notice I'm going to say the more energy, not hustle, hustle, hustle. The more energy you can give your business, the more you can get out of it. But you have to start thinking like an entrepreneur versus an employee. You have to start thinking like that. And you have to believe that you can create your own income opportunities. Here's my third and final tip. Quality clients versus quantity of clients. Please get this. Please get this. I've had people who come to me, they have a couple clients and they're like, I just need new clients. I just need new clients. And they think it's a cycle of clients when really it is about getting and attracting your ideal client. Your ideal client will continuously feed you. I have clients who I have worked with repeatedly for years on different things. We're now having a higher level conversation, right? I have clients that have referred me paid speaking engagements. I have clients that have referred me to other clients. When I first started my business, and this was a shift, this mindset shift is something someone else told me. And they were like, it is all about getting your ideal clients and keeping them happy. She told me that I can actually trace back 10 clients to this one client. I did work with one client who was a referral, and me and this other lady had an understanding that she would do the person's resume, I would do the coaching. And when it came time for this, I did the coaching, the person's mindset, we were ready to manifest. Everything was great. She knew her brand. Everything was great. I turned her over to the person who was supposed to do her resume. And the woman didn't do it. And she'd already paid her. And I said, hey, I don't feel good about this. Because this isn't how I do business. I said, I'm going to create your resume. You don't have to pay me an additional cent. I'm going to take care of this for you. I did her resume, headed to her timely. It looked amazing. She got a promotion and she got a new job. She has her own business too. She eventually started her own business. She later referred me to a coworker. That coworker referred me to another colleague. That colleague referred me to his cousin. The original person came back. I think I helped her with the branding for her business. The second person came back. It was like a domino effect. And they would just keep referring me and telling me, oh, like this person. Y'all, this was in a whole new state. This was in New York. This was before I even moved to New York. So when I tell you quality customers, you could have one client that can turn into 10 opportunities for you. It is all about attracting your ideal. If you find yourself in the cycle of, I need to get more clients, I need to get more clients, I need to get more clients, and you churning, or you feel that churn, like I'm working with two people, I need to fill out where's the rest of my people coming from. And if you're a business owner, you felt that before. I felt it too. Calm down and think, okay, how can I attract my ideal client and how can I serve them so well that I can get 10 other opportunities from this? That's how I look at everything. That's how I look at everything. When I do a speaking engagement, I've had paid speaking engagements where the people in the audience have now became my clients. And those people and the person who paid me to speak loved me so much they've rehired me again. And so this is what I mean by when you can attract your own income opportunities. I have an entrepreneurial mindset, and I also know when it comes to clients, it is quality over quantity. So when people say, I saw an email today and it was like, you should get 10 new clients every month. Or maybe not. Like I've met another woman who has a multiple six-figure business. She makes 400K a year. She is a single mom and she does not churn new clients every month. She doesn't get 10 new clients every month. I think she may even have maybe like say 10 clients for 3 months, but those 10 clients renew with her. Those 10 clients refer her for other opportunities. Those 10 clients bring opportunities to her for other clients, other opportunities, other people. They talk about her. They give her what do you call it? Testimonials. And you all know I am one. At first, I used to be so nervous about sharing testimonials, but now I share testimonials to inspire and attract other ideal clients like that. So even a testimonial from one client can attract 10 other clients and 10 other ideal clients. I want you to think of it. I always like to use domino, but I also like to be like, think of it as a circle, as if this is going to continuously feed you. As long as you are great to your clients, as long as what you are putting out there is great, what you attract is going to great, it's just going to keep feeding that circle. You don't need to be in this hustle mentality. I heard someone. This was someone said they were like the test of a good business is if you get 10 new clients a month. Y'all, I don't know. And again, I've had a multiple six figures in my business. I never generate 10 new clients a month. I need to serve my clients to the best of my ability. I have automations, I have things set up, but even me coming on here live, talking to you all, this helps me attract my people. This helps me keep in touch with past clients, right? And then those clients create new opportunities. People who see me are either going to be attracted to me or repelled by me. If you're attracted to me and my services, I know you are also going to bring in other people that are like you and that are attracted to my services and are attracted to me. So I want you to think about this. Like, are you in this hustle, hustle energy? And we know, let's be honest, we know when we in that anxious hustle energy versus when we're in that calming, I'm going to attract the best client for me. And even if it's one client, I know one client, I don't always say 10 clients. I'll say I know one great client can turn into 10 opportunities for me. Like I know that. I I had a client who came to me just for a resume. And at that time, God, I think I was charging like $500 or $600 for a resume. I don't even do those anymore. So I'm like, she's doing resumes for $600. No. But this is an example. I was doing resumes. I think it was either like $497 or $597, something like that. And I was giving like a free session, all these things. And everybody was like, you're undercharging, you're undercharging. I was like, that's okay. From I think I had one session of coaching and like this amazing resume. That person wound up getting like a $40,000 increase, hitting six figures, like this domino effect in her life. She literally sang my praises to anyone. Y'all, it had been years later, and someone called my phone and was like, hey, like, Shelly told me about your services and what you did for her years later. Like that person had that one thing, and I served her so well, had brought in so many new opportunities for me, right? What you ought to think about it like that. How can one great client and you can service that person to the best of your ability attract 10 other opportunities for you? This is again shifting. Think about all the shifts that we talked about. This is one talking about the shift from I can create my own income opportunities. Okay. Shift two, we're shifting from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset. Shift three, and again, these are all working together when it comes to clients, it's going to be quality over quantity. Because let me tell y'all, you could have two great clients, right? And those two great clients can feed you all year. You can have one terrible client and they will drain you. I've seen people have one bad client and reconsider their whole business and reconsider the whole thing. This is why attracting ideal clients who are attracted to your energy, who value your services, who are going to pay your rates, who are going to utilize what you share with them and get a result is the best opportunity for you to grow your business because them themselves will help you generate more income, generate more business. It works together like a circle. You can't have one of these mindset shifts without the other. You need to shift all three. If you are like Latrice, we are loving this. I'm going to be doing more about the mindset shifts and how to manifest more income. I also have a special coming up at the end of, I think we're doing it at the end of March or beginning of April. It's a free workshop on how I manifested $40,000 in 30 days. This is my personal story. I'm going to walk you all step by step on how I manifested $40,000 in 30 days. Did not do a launch, did not email people like crazy. I wasn't on LinkedIn every day. So all these things that you're hearing, I didn't. I shifted my mindset. Even somebody like me, I have to be reminded to shift my mindset. I'll share with you all some of the practices that I work on, like forgiveness and things like that, and how I received and accepted that money, and how this can be easy for you as well. Even if you have a full-time job, okay? So this is for you, even if you have a full-time job. If you're like, my business, I don't have that many clients yet, this is still going to be for you. If you're like, Latrice, I have a business, I'm working in it full time, but I'm struggling to attract the ideal clients, this is going to be for you because I'm going to share how I attracted clients, and then those clients help me renew, like out of renewed, or help me generate other opportunities. If you're interested in that free workshop, put pivot in the comments, and we're going to send you that free workshop, the link to the workshop to sign up on how I manifested $40,000 in 30 days. All right. I am so excited, you guys. I'm so glad that you are were able to join. Thank you, Trisha, for joining. I hope you all have a great Monday. I know you're on like your lunch break. If you're on your lunch break, enjoy your lunch and see you all next week. Bye.